Good morning, guys. So I alluded to this video yesterday. I was at work. Anyway, I'll just tell you about work a little bit. I'm a respiratory therapist, and I work with all all people at the hospital, but my specialty is neonatal. And so we have a neonatal ICU, and on high risk deliveries, we get called to those. And there's a team of us. There's a nurse, and there's a nurse practitioner. And if things go real haywire, we have the doctor come in. So, but most of the time it's just me and the nurse, or me and the nurse practitioner and the nurse. So there's three of us. They're like a team. We get the baby, we assess the baby. You know, um, I'm a respiratory, so I work on maybe clearing the airway, using give the baby oxygen, give the baby air, and resuscitate, CPR, whatever we have to do. Well, the last 2 days, we had two babies in a row. Each day we had one baby that we had to resuscitate, and it was really intense, and it was so I'm a little bit tired from that, but it's very fulfilling, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. I feel like I've been put in a really awesome place that can really help, and it makes me feel good. But it's kind of tiring, so I'm a little bit tired today, and I'm going to try to make this video because I think it's super important. It's interesting during all this stuff that's going on right now. It's just so insane, and I see people kind of folding under the pressure. And I was talking to a nurse at work the other day. This is before the election, and I don't really know her well, but she's a Christian, and she's was real pro Trump, or is pro Trump, and so we were talking a little bit about stuff, and then yesterday I saw her, and she's, I'm just freaking out, and so I just settled her down, and I just explained to her that that they're trying to steal the election. They got caught stealing it, and we just have to have faith in God. God has got this under control, and she had to remind herself of things she had learned through her faith, and oh yeah, and she settled down. She was like, she had to remind herself of the things she had learned through her faith, and what can happen is our faith can become very dogmatic, and as you see this in a lot of churches, a lot of religions, their faith becomes dogmatic. And what happens when that happens is there's a solidification that happens, and they're not able to kind of just float to the top. Their consciousness is not able to float to the highest level that it will naturally go to. It's like a balloon, a helium balloon. When you let it go, it's going to naturally float to the level that it can go to. And it's really important to understand that we're living through our experience. So we develop faith through our experience. As a Christian, as a practitioner of Sahaj Marg, as a meditator, whatever you call yourself on the outside, whatever your vehicle, your goal is God. And I think that it's important. This is, like I said, this experience of this election and all this craziness, and just what we're seeing is so, I cannot believe what a blessing this is. This is the biggest blessing as a collective I think we've ever received. This is huge, and this is worldwide too, because everybody's watching this election. Trump had massive support in a lot of countries that are waiting to see what we're going to do, waiting to see what's going to happen here. They're locking down everywhere. The New World Order was just about to take over, and we were real close to just being in lockdown. Forced vaccinations, forced microchips, Second Amendment gone. They were they were gutting the Constitution, and they they've been caught out in the open. And so I just wanted to talk about my experiences a little bit, because they have made me, I feel more rock solid than I could have even imagined. And all this stuff happened, all this stuff with the election happened, and I just had faith. And I'm not saying it's all for me, because I follow people who are also at this place where they just have I call it equanimity. You're in a state of equanimity. So your meditation experiences, your prayer, whatever you want to call it, when you even make the effort to connect to God directly, your experiences will lead to faith. And Kamlish talked about this, in that when you have 5 investments, say you have 5 investments, you're investing in the stock market, and you watch the performance of these investments, and one of the investments just stands out. It just performs. It's always giving you a great dividend. It's always giving you great interest. It's always giving you it's always maximizing the profits. It's always giving you the most. It just stands out above the rest. The other ones are okay. They're not terrible, but this one really produces. It's really producing. Well, over time, it only makes sense that you're going to direct your energy to that, because it's producing the most results. You're getting the most from what you're putting into it. You're getting the most back. I mean, it's just kind of common sense, but it's the way the mind works too, because the mind gravitates towards more and more. It wants, Maharishi would talk about this. He would say the mind wants more and more bliss, more and more happiness, more and more freedom. It gravitates naturally towards that. We don't have to create anything. It's just a natural component of the mind. The mind wants more. And and that's where you get into the whole thing. If ego's in control, the mind searches out on the 3D level. I want a nicer car, I want a prettier wife, I want a bigger home, I want a more fulfilling job, I want to make more money, I want more power. You can go down that lane, and that's the satanic lane, right? That's what leads to this satanic mindset. I mean, Luciferians, that's their whole gig, right? More and more on the material level. But on the spiritual level, that's what it's really is. When we start doing a practice, a really legitimate practice, it frees our mind from the material stuff, and starts to turn our mind towards the spiritual. And it starts to desire, our mind starts to naturally desire more and more connection to God, more and more bliss, more and more harmony. And that leads to this state of equanimity, because we realize not just on a level of consciousness on our mind, but our emotional body, our physical body, everything is in this state of, oh yeah, this is a temporary thing. Oh, this physical reality is temporary. We may not even realize it. It just comes to us, right? We start feeling these emotions of just happiness and fulfilledness, and I've been feeling like a state of almost like ecstatic state at work, and just ecstatic state where I just feel like, oh my God, we're just on the edge of something so awesome, or we're in the middle of something just so awesome. It's like being in a whitewater raft, and you're in the middle of the river, and you're shooting down the rapids, and it's just exhilarating, right? You're getting water splashed on you. You feel alive. You feel like you're alive. Well, that's how I feel like I've been feeling alive. And, and I brought up the baby stuff because you never feel more alive than when you're in the middle of a life and death situation. I mean, you're actually making decisions and part of a team that is pulling this life back. I mean, they're gone, right? Without you there, they're gone. And our intervention saves them. Well, on a spiritual level, we're jumping into the middle of the rapids right now. We're in the rapids. Enjoying the we're enjoying the ride. When you're um, connecting to God, you just enjoy the ride because you have complete faith, complete trust. That stock, that that mutual fund that you picked, it's going up. It's going up. It's going up, and you're just like, oh my God, this is so amazing, And so this is what the practice should lead to: a direct connection to God. Now, the Christians call it Holy Spirit. Um, I believe Sahaj Marg, it's transmission. Transmission is a form of this Holy Spirit, and this is what this is this energizing force that's pulling us out of this level of um, 3D material reality and pulling us up to a higher level where we can kind of see over the fence now, right? We can start to see over the fence. I had an experience the other night. I was woke up in the middle of the night, and I had this like meditation I used to do. Well, I'm not gonna. It's like a visualization. It's not a meditation, but I do this visualization where I imagine myself getting in a spaceship. I'll imagine that this spaceship lands in my backyard, and I go out the back gate, and I get in. I climb into the spaceship, and inside the spaceship there's like some couches. It's real comfortable, and then there's like a room off to the side, like a little bedroom, where I can lay on the bed and just look at the stars and look out into the galaxy. And this spaceship might fly up just high enough to where I can see the stars, or it might just fly up high enough to see the Earth. Or, but this time I got on the spaceship, and usually it's just me. Maybe there'll be like a couple like really high level beings on the ship, and I can just kind of communicate with them and get just feel that connection to them. But this time when I got on the ship was huge. It was like a mothership. It was massive inside. Like, I mean, there was like mountains and waterfalls, and I mean it was so big and so vast inside. And I wasn't the only one on there. A lot of people were on the ship, and they were receiving like healing. So it's like after you've been in a battle and you're really tired, you need R&R. They would send the troops to the back lines where they could take a shower and eat hot food and play around and relax and kind of become human again. And I felt like that's what this ship was. This ship was like recharging us. We were the ones that were out on the battlefield, and we were being given like a recharge. And I never had that before. That was the first time I ever had that we'll call it a visualization. So I thought that was interesting, because out here on this field of battle, and we are on a field of battle right now. Don't kid yourself. I mean, we are on a field of battle, and maintaining the state of equanimity is only possible if you have complete faith in God. So this leads me to my experience. So this is where my faith comes from. Okay, with Sahaj Marg. So I've talked about my journey before with meditation and things, and I'll just allude to it very quickly. But I had an experience when I first learned Sahaj Marg. I was very doubtful. I wasn't sure I was doing the right thing. I felt like maybe I was going, like, am I wasting my time? You know how you have those doubts. And I had a meditation where in the meditation I was connected with Daji. Daji transmitted to me personally. So he was sitting there, and I was shocked actually to see him. I was like, oh my God, it's Kamlesh, it's Daji. And he's sitting there, and he starts transmitting to me. And behind him is this wall. It was a massive. It was a reddish color. It was a massive wall of love. It was pure love. Like, if you could mine love, if you could mine it, and you could produce this substance that was pure, like gold. Like, they mine gold and they dig it out of the ground, and they melt it, and that gold would be like dirt compared to this. This was so fine and so pure and so completely words cannot describe what it was. Okay, it blew my mind at the moment. I was like, oh my God. It was like the power of this, the power of this love was so extreme that one drop of it, if you took one drop of that substance and dropped it onto this planet, everything would change instantly. I mean, everything. All these evildoers, everything that we, everything that we, everything would be changed in an instant. But that's not how God works. God doesn't do that. God does not usurp. God does not come down and just make these changes. These changes come through a mandate. They come through a structure. They come through a system, because that's how human beings evolve. We evolve through systems. And if this power was unleashed, we would be completely blown away. And so in my experience, Kamlesh was just giving me the gentlest whiff of this love. Okay, I mean, what was being transmitted to me was just, it was down to such a fraction of this love. It's not even, you can't even measure it. And I was just feeling these blast waves of this Holy Spirit, this love just washing through me and over me. And when I got done with that experience, I felt like I had been, it's like you're really dirty and you get scrubbed down clean and put on clean clothes, and you feel like you're just, oh my God, I'm so clean. I can't believe how clean I am. I felt like that for a couple weeks. I mean, I would just go to work and just be like, whoa. Everything just felt like a newborn baby, you know. You're just like, oh my God, you know. I didn't want to talk. I didn't even want to think, because I didn't want to make it dirty again. And it solidified my faith. It doesn't mean I didn't still have doubts later, which is unbelievable that I could even have doubts later. But it's just the nature of our mind. It goes back and forth. It vacillates back and forth. And so we have to be gentle with ourselves and understand that this is a process, okay? You're going in and you're going out. You're going in and you're going out. But this love, when I experienced this, when I had this experience, I'd always had anxiety my whole life. I had just this, and it would build in my chest, and I would feel this anxiety build up, and then I would have an outburst of some kind. Maybe I'd yell at my kids, or I would, be upset, or go into a depression. I mean, it would manifest itself in some way, right? It gets to a certain level, and then it manifests itself. Okay? That went away. Like, I never had it again. I've never had it since. It's gone, completely gone. That experience cleaned off that anxiety that I've had my whole life. It removed it. And so it showed me this is real. I mean, this is real, because I've always had this anxiety. I've always had it since I was a little kid, and it's gone, completely gone. So it gave me faith. That experience gave me unshakable faith. So when all this election stuff came up and all the stuff they're trying to do, I have unshakable faith in God. I have unshakable faith in God's plan. I have unshakable faith in Trump. He is going to fight to the end. And you know what? I'm going to be on the battlefield fighting with him in my own way. And the highest thing we can do right now, as I don't like this term light workers and all that, because I think it puts people in a box, but the highest thing we can do for what we're going through right now is to hold this state of equanimity. This state of equanimity is like a mirror. It's like a perfect, it's like a glassy, smooth reflection on a lake. We are in that state of complete reflection. We reflect this godly energy right onto the planet. We reflect it out into our environment. By staying in the state of equanimity, this godly energy is not fractured off into particles. It is like a blast wave coming off of us at all times. So it's very key to stay in this state of equanimity. And if it means you got to shut the TV off, well, it's going to mean you have to shut the TV off. I'm going to tell you that right now, because we're not strong enough. The amount of mind control being blasted out right now is unbelievable. When I'm at work and I see the TV, I just have to turn away. When I go in a patient's room and they have the TV on, I just get their treatment going and I step outside into the hall. I cannot stay in the room with that stuff. I have to think about putting up an actual shield around myself to protect myself from it because it's so toxic. Anyway, that's it for today. It went long. I'm sorry. But I love you guys. Stay strong. It's going to be okay. We're going to get through this. It's going to be awesome. Love you.